So you talked about ketones being part of the benefit from fasting. Compare and contrast benefits you'd get from doing these fasts versus just being on a ketogenic diet and producing ketones that way. Obviously, we could do both, but somebody who is new to this and we want to start them out slow, will they get a lot of the benefits just from being keto and eating that way?
Yeah. So when you're on a ketogenic diet, first of all, let's define a ketogenic diet. It's a very difficult diet to do because you got to have more than 70% of your calories coming from fat. So it's usually a modified ketogenic diet. But even then, yes, when you do a ketogenic diet and then you do some fasting, you'll make even more ketones. So yes, it is of value. So ketogenic diet is definitely of value. So let me explain what I do with some of my patients. They come in and they're very inflamed. And they have all these gut issues and a big fatty liver and they have all this coronary artery disease and they get bloating and gas and distension and they don't know what they're allergic to. They're just miserable eating also. Then I do the most efficacious elimination diet. The most efficacious elimination diet is just not to eat. But then I do number 2, which is, okay, you can eat fish, chicken, turkey, eggs, and some cruciferous vegetables. And I do this literally every day on some of my patients. So what does that do? That eliminates a lot of your plans. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but you can still have cruciferous vegetables, but you're producing less inflammatory onslaught in your gut, especially when you have a gut problem. So on those particular patients, they're already going to be on a modified ketogenic diet because immediately the insulin productions go way down. Immediately their gut becomes anti-inflammatory because they react much less to fish, chicken, turkey, and eggs than to vegetables. Because oftentimes they're having reactions to things that are in the plants. And until I fix the gut, eating plants causes problems for them. So what I do is I do this for approximately 4 or 5 months maybe, and then I say, okay, now reintroduce some of your plants that you really like to eat. But the cruciferous vegetables should always be there because cruciferous vegetables are amazing. They produce a lot of sulforaphanes in the body because they come packed with glucoraphan, and then that mixes with myronase that's in it already. And when you chew it, it releases it and makes into sulforaphanes. And sulforaphanes are needed because they turn on your NRF2 pathway, which is your body's own endogenous anti-inflammatory pathway. You see, a food turns on your own inner anti-inflammatory pathway, which is the NRF2 pathway. Sulforaphanes do that. So take your cruciferous vegetables and then reintroduce the other foods as you want to later on in life. But I think that we do this. So a modified ketogenic diet will help the patients to get into ketosis quicker. So when they start their diet, they're doing the 18-6, and then they want to do the OMAD for 3 or 4 days. Change what you're eating. You have to cut out sugars. You got to cut out carbs. You got to cut out all the. Look, I don't like grains because grains just cause too many problems. I've seen that over and over again. When I cut out the grains, already they start feeling so much better. It helps with my SIBO, patients getting better so quickly, the bloating, the gas, and the mental fog. So I do this type of diet on the worst patients. Wheat is a huge problem. And I never believed this until I started doing all my blood tests on the patients. And I found that the patients who have the most inflammation are most having a problem with wheat. So when I eliminate the wheat, they come back saying, I feel so much better. My belly also feels better. Now, eliminating the wheat, that's a huge source of carbs. So they're going to go into ketogenesis a little bit faster as well. So both of them are helpful, but I got to tell you that there's something different about being in ketogenesis because you're eating a ketogenic diet every day, and there's a difference in someone who does prolonged fasting. There's something more that you're going to get in a prolonged fast. In a prolonged fast, there's hormesis. Hormesis, which means it's total stress on the body. It causes far more changes in your body than simply being in ketosis. When you are fasting, you're getting stem cell mobilization. You're getting brain-derived neurotropic factor production. You're getting real autophagy. And your gut, totally, the microbiome changes completely because you've knocked out all those bad guys and you basically going to heal the lining of your gut as well. It gets a chance to heal itself. So I think that there's a difference because on the one hand, you're thinking just ketones. But wait a second, fasting does other things also besides giving you some ketogenesis. Fasting changes your body. It gets rid of all the fat from the wrong places. It does all these other chemicals. It does much more autophagy than just a simple ketogenic diet. So I agree, it's nice, but you have to do fasting also.
Since you made it to the end of this clip, I know you're going to love the full episode. Click here to watch. I'll see you over there.
Visceral fat is pathological always. It should never happen, but we have an epidemic of it going on right now. Estimates are anywhere between 40 and 50% of the population.